Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the sewing machine. I hope you have a sewing machine to use of your own, and the one thing you'll notice about sewing machines, they are all different, which is very confusing. But not really, because principles of a sewing machine are basically all the same. Ever since they were first made, they tend to be put together in much the same way. Now we have this brochure which you'll be able to download, or you'll be able to find on a link on the website there. And it has within it a diagram of a sewing machine, and it's got all the different names of different parts of the sewing machine. I'm going to go through each part of those right now. Okay, I'm going to go through each the points to where the various things are. The first one we talk about is where the bobbin goes, or the bobbin case. On this machine, it's right there, and you just drop the bobbin straight into the machine like that. On some machines you have a little door here which opens down, and you pull out a bobbin case, and I'll show that on another machine. If you need to wind your bobbin and put some thread on it, this is the place. It's the bobbin winder spindle. You put your bobbin in on there. If you want to wind your thread, you put it on the spool holder here, and there should be just over here a little screw which you get, and that actually gives tension to your thread. Go around your bobbin, and you push this across, and this here is number 3. It's called the bobbin winder stop, and that means that when you're winding your bobbin, it will actually, once it reaches there, it will stop. Yeah, underneath the presser foot here is what we call the feed dog. It's got little ridges on it, and what that effectively, and you can see as you come around and round, it just moves backwards and forwards and pushes the material through. That's the feed dog. This here is what we call the free arm. It means you can put something like a sleeve over there, so you can just sew around. And to this side of the machine we have the flywheel. You can hand move that forward, don't go backwards, you'll break a thread. And as you hand move it forward, if you look over to here, the needle goes up and down. That's the flywheel. When you're actually sewing, that will spin on its own. This here is the presser foot, and it moves up and down. When you're sewing, you have it down so that it's sitting on top of that feed dog, and that helps put the fabric through. There is a variety of these for different purposes. This is the general one. This is, on mine, the lever is here to move that up and down. Often the lever is right behind at this point here. When you're sewing a seam, you'll want to reverse at the beginning and end of each seam. And there will be a button, it's usually got a little arrow curled like this here, for you to press. While you're pressing that down, the machine will go backwards and then forwards again. We'll show you that as we start to do some sewing. As I said before, up the top here you'll have either horizontal or vertical, a spool pin to put your spool of thread on. Okay? On this machine I have just a few different stitches. I think that's the basic number of stitches, and I very seldom want more than this. I have a straight stitch, a zigzag stitch, a 3-step zigzag. It goes across and backwards. This will overlock an edge, and this one here is the blind hem. Now that's just the basic stitches I have. This machine will also do numbers, but they're there. But they're really just the basic variety you need, and this is where you select your stitches. On mine you just press the button, and it comes up here with 01 or 03, and that's the straight stitch there. You want to be able to vary the length of your stitch, and this is on mine here is where I can vary it from 0, which means it's going to stitch in the same spot, up to 4, which means each stitch is 4 millimeters long, and you just move that across. Now on my machine I actually need to press that button to turn on my stitch length, because there's a preset length for each one, and then you just move it up and down. Now this counts for straight stitch, for zigzag. Yep. On my machine this is the stitch width selector. If you're on zigzag, you might want a very narrow stitch width, so you'd go to 1, or you want to do quite a wide one, which on this case goes to 5, which again is 5 millimeters. Okay, now this is the point that actually gets a lot of people confused and frustrated when they're sewing. It is the tension. The tension will allow the thread to be tighter or looser. Mine has a little rolly one here. On 0, of course, there's no tension at all. There's no stress on the fabric, the thread, and that makes it very tight. You can see that the 3, 4, 5 is surrounded there. That's about normal. And your machine will have the normal marked on it. You don't often need to adjust this. It's more likely, if you've got a problem with thread tension, you more likely have threaded your machine wrong than this is a problem. If it is a problem, you need to take your machine in for a service.